The following program is produced through the community television facilities of Saugus TV. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of Saugus TV, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hello, my friends. This is the Disgruntled Italian for another episode, today we will talk about how history it repeats itself unless we do something about it. So, first of all, thank you for being with me today. I appreciate it. Last night, it happened that I watched on the Italian television a documentary movie that it's very, very interesting, very historical, respect historic fact, and it's about the story of a investigative reporter, an English investigative reporter, in the mid-30s, 1930s, and he was a special envoy for the England foreign policy. England in those days, it was going into an economical crisis. So this, I can remember the name of this reporter. It's in the history. So, and he asked his boss to be sent to Moscow to see what's going on, because in the mid-30s, as Stalin was already well established, they were trying to push the Communist Party to the world and say that that's the best and ultimate type of government, where all the worker will live this dream life, that they would and don't have to worry about getting to the end of the month. They don't have to worry about the education for their children. They don't have to worry about their health care. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? So, this guy, he was puzzled right from London and say to himself and raising question like, how can in Moscow they have such a luxury lifestyle, and in reality their economy is not doing anything really of importance, even though that the heavy industry was humming. It was humming because it was making weapons. They have all this cash influx. Where that cash came from? And there was the very, very $1 million question. So he asked this reporter, asked his boss, say, may I go to Moscow? I'd like to see what's going on over there. And, okay, they send him over there. As soon as he's arrived in Moscow, something strange it happens to him, because he was allowed to stay in the hotel that was established by the Russian government, or I would say Stalin, where he was supposed to live, and only for 2 days, while his visa was for a whole week. And this hotel, they were all the foreign reporter. They all were housed over there. And, he was asking himself, how come we are all in this hotel here? Well, the reason was simple. That's because Stalin could keep an eye on them, how they moved, what they did, what they saying, and he will take action accordingly. As a matter of fact, one of those reporters that was in touch with the underground opposition, all of a sudden, he was died accidentally into a robbery. And because this guy that was assassinated and the English investigative reporter was, they were friends. So, and for the reporter was like, how the hell happened? I mean, how can do a robbery, he gets killed, shot? Well, they just to silencing him. That's what happened. So he decided to make question with the underground opposition and found out there was something going on in Ukraine. So he says, I want to go to Ukraine, and everybody tried to, by code word and stuff like that, to not to do that. But he decided to do that. So, and he did. When he was in Ukraine, he was shocked for what he found. Massive starvation, failing agriculture, all the way down to cannibalism, or dead body on the street. And he couldn't fathom of this. So obviously it's been not just a documentary, but a movie too. So they created a few things that it would be part of a movie, like, oh, he met this one, or he met these other people, and oh, look at what happened. That there is a dead person frozen on the street, and they taking parts of that person, that body. Why? Then he realized because they have nothing else to eat. So, and all the grain that they were growing in Ukraine, it was being shipped to Moscow. And Stalin was saying publicly that the grain was Russian gold. Yes, the point is never bother to explain how did he get that grain at the expense of Ukraine, try to eliminate completely the Ukrainian people. Isn't that sound familiar? Like, if we ask ourselves, what Russia and Putin is doing to Ukraine, while they say, oh, we want to have Donbass, Kharkiv, the region, and we have right here on my phone, it says Russia has taken 1,700 square kilometer, which is a little over 600 square mile of Ukraine this year. That's what their top general saying. So, and the guy that is reporting them, his name is, and thank you for doing that, Guy Falconbridge, and Anton Kolodjasny. I'm sorry, that's a Russian name. I hope the guy doesn't get mad if I'm not good at pronouncing his last name. But he's with Mr. Falconbridge. I think I know the name of this Falconbridge from somewhere before. So now, they in adding, they say Russian pushing in Donbass, Sumy, and Kharkiv. So now, an average person will think, after hear that message, he will think, oh, okay, they're going to get those regions, and they stop. Well, think again, it will not stop, just like they did with the other provinces south of Russia. They destroyed those provinces, those nations actually, because when the Berlin Wall fell, those provinces, they become nation. So just to say how big and now extensive into 9 different zone time the USSR was, and Putin tries to restore back all the way to the time of the Tsar Peter the Great of Catherine the Greatest. I'm not too familiar with the Russian history, but this is roughly what he wants to do. And he's not going to stop in Ukraine, because after Ukraine, it will be Moldova. After Moldova, it will be Romanian, Bulgaria. So reconstructing what one time it was the USSR and more. So considering being in his mind for a moment that he conquered or reconquered all that, do we really think he's going to stop? He might try to get Poland. And after Poland, he might try to say, well, we have a chip on the shoulder about Germany because they try to invade us. So they try with Germany. They will find an excuse for each one of them until they are to the coast of the Atlantic Ocean. After that, it's going to be interesting to see that, with Trump, which is worshipping Putin, to war criminal, that we must find new words and new location in history where the bad peoples are, that it fits the size of how bad they are, which including also the leader of Israel. Okay, that's another war criminal. So, and one of the news of today is that somewhere, in Washington, D.C., they arrested veterans because they were protesting against the Iran war. They were protesting, okay? So we can't even protest anymore. You can see the veterans, some on a wheelchair, some with crutches or whatever they have to help them at work, because they were seriously wounded in all those forever wars. So, Americans, wake up. It's time before it's too late. Because, see, it's not what we hear from that gorilla in the squatting in the White House. It's not what we hear from him and his administration. The worry we should have is for what we do not hear from them, what they don't tell us, because they're opaque as they can come. Just like with the time of Mussolini and the time of Hitler, they all have something else. They will distract you from whatever it is that they think it's okay to distract, so that we don't pay attention to the real issues. Those are the one that we should be wary about. Is an amazing things how entire population can get so easily distracted. Okay? So he's working against university, obviously, because university, they are solving problem. They are making sure that the government stay on a narrow, straight line, because the government should stay their way, because the researchers should be having a wide field of operating research, because the research is something new. We do not know where they are leading us. They're improving us. That's why we should have university, college, schools. All that one will be a research. It's a matter of fact, since a few decades ago, when China figured out how that the United States, it can progress so well and doing things so good that they actually copy our system. Now, they're going so well and so good, and we're losing ground on them. But Trump, he doesn't care, because he thinks like some other history. He thinks he can buy anything he wants with money, because he can be bought with money. He can sell anything for money. So he thinks the same of other peoples and leaders. That's wrong. That's wrong. So, my friend, it's getting a little steamy, huh? Well, because all this stuff that we see going on and it's happening. Until, if I now being in the United States since 1977, I don't claim to know America, but I have an idea where the American people can go. We can go back into the 19th century and we know what happened, okay? In the mid of that century, the Civil War. So this is it's like a rubber band that Trump and company is stretching until it's gonna break. And when it's breaking, that's called Civil War. And Mr. Trump and acolytes, there are 400 million weapons on the street. You're not gonna prevail. I have a picture of Mussolini, Claretta Petacci, and other of his administration when they tried to leave and go to Switzerland. And they found themselves hanging upside down on Piazzale Loreto, which is a square in Milan. They are upside down not for revenge of anything, because the people that they got them, they hang them upside down to prevent the mob to make a mess out of those bodies. That's the last thing you want to have. It's that it's like animal, like savages. You don't cross that threshold. So the same people, they fought them, they save, after they died, they saved them to be spit on it, pissed on it, kicked on it, until being beyond recognition. So they hanged them, and they saved from the bomb. So, and like Hitler, he had to go all the way, and that's what happened. So, I'm not saying anything new. Trump's administration and people, and you too, Trump, this stuff can happen to you if you don't stop what you're doing. Okay? I know you're trying now just a little to act like a real president, but they could fool the MAGA people to stick on what they believe, because changing what they believe, it hurts on a personal level. So they're seeing you being like a president to say, oh yeah, he's good. In reality, America, it's not made out of MAGA. It's made out of 330 million people. You think they're a mass you can control? Watch it. So, my friend, I don't like to have history repeat itself. Because human life, they are all, no one excluded, they are all very important. We can all, in one way or the other, even if we do not comprehend, they are contributing to the society, one way or the other. Okay? So, and we are all very important. Yes, even you too, Trump, very important. But, as Pope Leo XIV said, and told you, and you took it naughty while you misunderstood the message, not its in entirety, but part of the message. If you want to argue with the Pope, remember, you're like a fly against a grizzly bear. So leave it alone. He's got, I would say, a third of the entire human population on his side. You're no match for him. You're not. So let it go. Okay? And, I have a lot of more stuff to say, but my friend, I believe I asked enough of your time today. So we're going to come back next week, God willing, and I will have more to say. But for now, because I love all of you, for now, that's good enough. And if anyone has any question, of any nature, of any kind, please go to disgruntleditalian@gmail.com. Please, disgruntleditalian@gmail.com. Don't sit back on your laurel, because today it's not the time to do that. Thank you, guys. This is the Disgruntled Italian. Thank you for sharing this half hour with me, and arrivederci until next time.
The preceding program was produced through the community television facilities of Saugus TV. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of Saugus TV, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.